Welcome to Designers Unleashed. This is Geenal Gala here. My vision behind starting Designers Unleashed was to create a platform for all those aspiring designers to get multidisciplinary knowledge about various design aspects, and also to break various myths that are existing in the society regarding design as a career with parents or students. So today we have our special guest, Mr. Rishabh Jain. He is a multidisciplinary designer and the founder of Shape India. So, Shape India is a furniture and spatial design company. And being an architect, a product designer, and a researcher, Rishabh has been building a reputation for himself as a creative powerhouse. With an eye, okay, Mr. Rishabh Jain. So, this is a brief introduction about himself, just as a designer. Now, as an entrepreneur, Rishabh has overcome numerous challenges and obstacles along the way, and he's eager to share his insights and experiences with other aspiring designers and entrepreneurs. Welcome, Rishabh Jain, to Designers Unleashed by Studio Atelier.
Thanks, Genial, for that generous introduction. Yeah.
Rishabh, we are all very excited to have you on board, and I hope this conversation will be very helpful for all those aspiring designers. Tell me something about your journey. Like, how did you start your career in design?
Yeah, definitely. So for that, I just would like to share my screen.
Yeah,
Would be
sure.
okay. So basically, just a quick introduction about myself. So I am Rishabh Jain, and basically my journey started as an architect who turned design researcher and a furniture designer. With all of these, I would like to talk about my journey, as what Genial did want to know, and I guess I don't know, it would really helpful for you or not, but this is something that I would like to talk about. Is basically, I know, right? I hopefully cleared 12. Post that, I chose architecture as my passion to do. Post architecture, I thought that architecture had given me so much of knowledge. I would be independent, and I would be in a first job. But that wasn't something that was a great journey, I would say. But yes, that's a different topic to talk about. But moving forward, then I found out that okay, when I was learning more about architecture, I found it a gap that basically every time we design something, we generally tend to avoid user validations, or we try to understand that okay, what exactly the client would need. But sometimes on like bigger project, like public projects, we sometimes are not able to do some kind of a user research, or maybe there's not a bandwidth or etc. And that's where I found out that if we don't know our users, how we design for them. That's where I found out this course called Design Innovation, which really lived up to all my Corona expectations. Because you all know that it was a world full of we were all locked down and I couldn't do much. But that's what I started to learn this kind of new course where I explored design research, design thinking, product design, UX, etc. Which helped me to gain towards which helped me more momentum to gain towards like research, and that's where I diversified. And when I was doing a lot of research, etc., my tangible aspect of doing products never went. I wanted to do products, but I was not very reluctant to join architecture again. That where my my co-founder friend, who's Gaurav Badwani. We just were having an interesting conversation about how furniture plays a very important role in designing spaces, and that's where he found out that why don't we start designing furnitures for people? That's where the shape is born. While learning from while even working on shape, etc., I started to understand that okay, I want to broaden my understanding, broaden my knowledge. How do I do that? That happens when you start sharing knowledge with people. That's when I started teaching with numerous institutes in Bombay, where I started reflecting what I exactly do, what I really want to do, etc. Similarly, all of these made me into become like an entrepreneur, which is Shape, which currently we are shaping myself as well, and then teaching at institutes. And
Okay, what are the institutes that you are currently teaching in?
So I'm currently teaching at NMIMS. I'm teaching at Somat School of Design. I
Mhm.
am also teaching at Ecole Institute Lab, Mumbai.
Wow, great. So, you're currently working as an entrepreneur as well as mentoring students. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure this would have not been easy as a journey. So, can you talk about your challenges?
Uh, Definitely. Like, specifically, I would say, a designer or a budding designer in India is always like talk in a town kind of a person.
Right.
Like most of the time, it's always like, oh, you are doing design. Oh, I didn't know this. What's more about it? So that's one of the part that people are curious about it. But the other part is that people don't really understand what exactly it is. That's where the challenges come in play. Like when I say all of these, the major challenges I faced is not from my parents. Luckily, my parents, my family was always very supportive. But I used to always God used to get this comment, like these comments saying that what would you do? What would your future look like? Why design? There's so many other professions. In fact, I come from business community, so like, why don't you join our business? You would earn more money. And what are you earning now? I said, my feeling was all these were a mental block towards me, and that actually motivated more to me. And during all these challenges, also like exploring the path. So the thing is, most of the people don't know these that what exactly you can do in design. Like when you start exploring the path, you understand that okay, there are different kind of areas also you can do. Right? For me, like when I complete architecture, everyone like started like doing interior projects. For me, interior projects was not a very good high. Like I didn't really personally enjoy doing interior projects, though I love interiors. But doing those projects was something not really my cup of tea, I would say that way. That's when I started exploring that what more things I could do. And that's where one of my interest levels were towards research. That's where it started to for me to understand all of these. And while doing this, people were like, research mein kya hota hai? Why do research? Research mein kuch paise nahi hai. And everything in India or maybe in this community comes up with money. Like everything is equal to is not money. I do agree it's an important need we need. But if you start learning makes learning in any which will be like a money would be a byproduct then. If you're learning, if your skills are very upfront, people will not hesitate to pay you. That's what I've learned from my lessons. And these all challenges were like still like very smaller. The biggest challenge that I had was what was like like picking up my career path. Like every time I picked up a job, I was saying that what do I do next, or what is going to be my career path looking like. Though I'm still exploring that, I would not say I'm 100% there, or but I still like creates like a block, right? What exactly do I pursue? But yeah,
This is a major dilemma that most of the students and parents have. So generally the parents come up with, अरे design hobby के जैसे करना है, drawing class करो ना, हम कहाँ ना बोल रहे हैं. Like, but don't take it as a career. So this is the major comment that we get from parents. These days parents are still understanding it as a career path, but still there are places like remote villages and 2 tier 3 tier cities wherein design as a career is not very appreciated. So I
yeah,
think this will give them an overview. Okay, there is a career like design and you can pursue and have a good career into it. Plus, like you told, you're still exploring. So students are also in a dilemma. अच्छा design तो ले लिया मैंने, लेकिन what do I do exactly in my career? Will it be secure, not secure? Am I choosing a right career path or not? So all these things I would like to tell our aspiring designers, this part and parcel of life, like it's gonna happen. Even Rishabh sir is still exploring more things, and that's what design is about. You have to keep exploring, research and all those things will add on to your skill sets.
yeah.
So Rishabh sir, we would like to know from you, how did you overcome these challenges?
Yeah. So when I talk about challenges, I specifically take them as obstacles. When I say obstacles, those hurdles that come in play, that you're running and there are hurdles and you just need to bypass it to win a race. I would not say that I'm planning to win a race, but I'm planning to at least do something fulfilling that I really enjoy. So that's where all those challenges come into play. So when I say like these challenges, when people told me that why design, क्यों करना है, all of those things, I was like more towards persistent. कि नहीं, I feel that I will enjoy this most, and do what do I enjoy? I would like to do that because I know that even if I earn less, I will be more happier and I would live a better life than what actually I was would be doing something which is being told. It would always be a half-hearted thing. And to what I believe is like when you're doing design or any kind of thing, you're not only doing visual design, you're actually learning problem solving. So basically, there's one more notion that people don't know about design is that it's problem solving. It's not only visual. It's like every time you learn something. So basically today, all the corporates enable design thinking. And that's where we become like a core group of any organization that come into play. Like in my office also, all the business heads come to us saying that, this is the challenges that they are facing. How would you like to solve them? And that's where we are catering to them. So understand that the business is starting to understand that what power design has, and that's where I feel that all these challenges now becomes very smaller and granular. I would like to look at a bigger level. And all these challenges that has come, like these small talks about thing, I guess this is a process, right? Design is trending. It will then become like a behavior. And then it would then become a fashion. And then once it becomes a fashion, it becomes like a behavior. That's the philosophy that I have understood, that every new thing that you do would have a lot of pushbacks, and you need to be persistent about it. That's where all these challenges I trying to overcome till now. I guess in fact in office also, people do say that अरे design ना मतलब visual है, you all just do some kind of good work and then it looks very good. I mean, it's not about always looking good, but it's more like solving a problem and then making it better. That's
So that's
what
the
it is.
major difference between visual arts, that is fine art, and painting and designing. A lot of parents and students also get confused between fine art, painting, and designing. So this is the good differentiation.
Yeah, yeah.
So, as you've experienced and worked in various design field as a brand designer, how do you ensure that company's visual identity accurately reflects its values and missions?
So basically, as a brand designer, I would say I have not worked as a brand designer. But what happens is, as a design researcher, you're a part of all those branding exercises. And when those branding exercises come, you need to understand first what the brand would be, what exactly is the say, what people have emotions about. And most of the time, no, it's not always about a vision and a mission, but it's always about the emotions behind them that play a very major role that a brand would play. Like for example, if you say Nike has an emotion to it, like that motivation factor. Like just one tick makes you feel so motivated to just look at it. That's how if we create emotions with vision mission, I guess then it becomes more like accurate towards it. I would like to show you an example that I did. Actually, I would say that it's something that my mom wanted to build, but it couldn't go forward yet more.
Okay.
But just uh, just a minute, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
एक बार, just let me know if you're able to see this.
Yeah, yeah.
दिख रहा है ना बराबर?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay, so this was something that that we played. We did a banding exercise for what she actually does. So she basically makes homemade pan, and that's where we decided to design something for her. I wanted to gift her something. Other than always gifting something which is tangible, I wanted to give something intangible to her.
Right.
So that's what we translated doing this. So this was something about her name. Her name starts from P, and that's one. And second is that all about leaves. So when we wanted to make something that she loves, is something which is pan, and pan ka Sanskrit version was a parna, and that's where we started to understand that what can be done. So leaf, and she's also at a growth level. She is not yet that become like a very famous one, but like a leaf growing at a stage. So if you see her, the leaf is an angle which showcases growth towards a level, and that's where we started to understand that this kind of particular leaf would actually create emotions within people to understand what exactly a pan is. So just like a very small exercise that we did with her, it went on a lot of processes, which I guess it would be less time to talk about it. But this is what I would want to say, that a vision mission comes with emotions, is what I mean.
Right. So, how do you balance creativity with functionality in your designs? Like, can you provide an example of a project where you are successfully balanced these two elements?
Definitely, I would not rather speak much, but I would like to show you something that I guess that made a talk of the town
Okay.
recently in our lot of exhibitions that we had portrayed. Just give me a moment, I'll share my screen. Yeah, so I guess
Wow, this was so very good, so very mindful, and I'm like super excited to see the product now, physically.
yeah, so that's what like, rather than me talking about it much, it talked about all, right, it talked about how exactly we use the chair, and specifically this was designed to spaces like which are crunched, right, where we don't have lot of amount of spaces. And you know how the real estate of Mumbai has been, we
Right.
always are in crunch of space, and that's where it played a very important role, and it was versatile in nature. So your chair depends on the mood, and you just like, okay, I would want to like sit today, I just want to work today, or I would just want to relax. And that's how the chair plays it, just rotate it and you can use it however you like to. So yeah, so just talking about them, this was one of the briefs that we always wanted to work on, like product design, and how emotions and how behaviors and how exactly the problems of today's men play a very big role when we're designing of any kind of product. So yeah.
And the best part of this product I liked was it's very minimalistic, sleek, and it looks classy also. So even the material that you've used, everything is like top notch. I really liked it.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you so
interesting.
much, Gina. Yeah.
Product on sale, like how do you sell these products?
So currently, we are like a very small brand. We just recently started. We did do an exhibition in December at Raw Collaborative. I don't know, a lot of people. It's quite a big
Yeah, it's a big.
exhibition for all these designers who come into play. We started our journey from Raw, I would say that way.
Okay.
And we basically grown towards websites, etc. We're starting to plan a website, etc. And currently, what we are doing is we are selling everything on Instagram. So that is how it is happening. Instagram, and also
Okay.
like directly servicing our interior partners, architecture, friends who are actually building products. So we are collaborating with them, and other partners are Instagram. So, and the website is in process. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I think, and now, like, you are a co-founder of Shape India, which is a furniture and spatial design company. Can you tell our audience more about the home decor field? Like, what inspired you to start your own company in decor segment industry, especially?
Yeah, so I would say one thing that I've been working with a lot of carpenters, like just growing down very low as like I'm working with all these craftsmen, artisans, crafts, carpenters, etc. The problem there is that everything is very, very, very unorganized. And like I know some major partners like other companies, big companies are actually organizing this sector, but it isn't that organized. And specifically, you lack a lot of skill products that you really want to. And also one more thing is there are a lot of products which are there, but most of the products are not very useful. They're only useful for certain kind of spaces. But what if you want to design something which is going to be in every space, right? How do you think about it? How do you think about all those lines? And specifically, also one more thing is it's a product, and that's something that is going to be tangible. And what we thought is I'm always working into intangibility, and I want to do something which is tangible, which is like a product. Oh, and my co-founder friend moreover wanted to work something, a line which we always curate our own products also, because that way we start create meanings in a faster space. Because doing an interior product project or an architecture project could take like months to complete or years to complete. How do we start talking about what is our point of view? How do we stand out around the crowd? That's where this kind of thing came into picture. It was just like how we were like born out of COVID. We say that always to all our people, and it's like just like a thought that we started to when we are using our own spaces at our homes, we started to understand that it lacks so much of like user centricity or like the human elements to it. So yeah.
So, like you told, when you started using your own spaces, especially during COVID timings, and that's when you realized. So, how does this realization come? Like, students fail to understand that observation is also one of the core skills that they need to have. Like, without observation, you cannot imagine some product like this. Is there any take that you would like to,
So yeah, definitely. So what I used to do is like during and when this is something that is very important. People also don't know what exactly observation is. They think that just seeing is observing. It's not that. Observing is making sense out of what do you observe also. Like I would say that when you're observing something, I would say that okay, you're observing let's say a book, right? What exactly that book wants to say. Like it could be just like very flashy kind of lines that they have written. It's provoking you to read, right? That's the observation that you mean. If I see that, that's a book, okay. But what do you observe? I observe that there are some provoking thoughts that is actually making me or intrigue me to getting that book to read. Like for
So, the best part that I felt about this entire chair, apart from observation, like you told, people don't know what to observe, how to observe. So, while you created this entire chair, you observed what are the difficulties that people are facing, and what are the different, postures that people want to sit in different emotions. I think that's the thing, right? Yeah,
That's one. And also, I mean, this comes like a very backstory. So basically, like, I have this one book which I already like not really currently which showcases a lot of things, but in our school years, you were taught that always maintain a book. And I was very keen on photographing. Like I was just like clicking pictures is something that I really enjoyed.
yeah.
That's when I started clicking pictures and I used to paste it all those in my book and then started writing about one-liners on those. So and I never checked that book again, but every year or any time when we are, then we are like removing our old clothes and etc. And that book comes into play. I started to look at that book, and these gives me a lot of thoughts. I don't know how I used to think earlier, and how these observations were really very key elements. And since I maintained a logbook, I could remember all of those observations, and that's where it became very helpful. So now I know that what I saw actually was very interesting, and I started to document it or write it or made my own journal. That was something that I did, and that's what really helped me to create these kinds of products. And to emotions, and we study a lot of ergonomics. Like we study how people really sit, and of course those clicks really help us. And generally, since I was in lockdown, I was always with my family. I could see how people are generally sitting and like going to neighbors, sitting around, looking around how that general people really relax or sit or work. And that's where I started to understand that how this would make sense. And then like uh Gaurav, like my co-founder friend, came into play, like Gaurav, and Gaurav started to work on these designs where he also had his own way of looking at ergonomics into play, and he brought this kind of an amazing idea of bringing this piece together. So yeah, so observation, yes, a very important play.
Right. Okay. So you have an experience in architecture, furniture design, and UI UX design. Which of these areas do you feel are you are most passionate about, and why?
So basically, I would say none of them
Okay.
to be like a part of it, because all these things come into one segment, which is research. And like if I tie them up, I say that okay, if I have a strong hand in doing design, or if I have a strong hand design, that's because of my research capabilities that I could bring in. So when I say that I could really get into what exactly a person thinks and how would he really want that product to be like, and making that a product similarly to what his requirements are, not exactly his, but also putting our design elements, that really works out for me. So I would say that design research, like design thinking here, plays a very important role in all these aspects. And that's where, helps me to communicate with architecture, communicate with brand design, communicate with product design, and communicate with UX design. That's where you can build any product that you would like to. But in where when you know your research or when you've done your homework properly. So yeah.
So, can you tell us about your journey, like to becoming the founder? What was it like? Like, how did you start?
Yeah, I guess most of the startups or these we are still like a growing or emerging or very small kind of a brand. All these brands start with the story of no funds, and that was exactly the same thing. You know how architects are paid. Would not want to talk about it more, but you know how they're paid. And then there's one thing that you are at an age where you don't want to even take money from your house and then take money from outside. How would you actually sustain? That's where you start building ideas. What we really did is, first of all, when we started our journey, we just made some series of renders and we started to showcase everywhere. We should nudge all these interior designers, architects, etc. And you know what? When we started doing this, we got a lot of very good response. They said that, okay, this is good. We can see very good designs on your, like, 3Ds. But what really, how we would like to see a piece in person, or you'd like to see these pieces. And that's where he said that it takes a lot of money to buy or make one product also. That way he thought that we just want to first see that if all our products are really very good, or are or do we see that shape as future. So to do that, we started to that since I said that we started to renders, we got a very positive like attitude, like a positive response from the people. We thought that okay, we can take it a chance. That's why we built first of our product, which was Rota. In fact, Rota was a one product that we wanted to build since a very long time, but we couldn't. But after a long hustle, and that getting that one product also right was a task. Still, we have not got the product right. We are still working on the iterations, but that one product or a prototype, getting that right, took us almost 3 months. Since we were new, finding a vendor, finding someone who can do this for us would like be a task. And how do you trust, right? That came a lot of, I guess, say that was a very big challenge to us, because there are a lot of people around in Mumbai to do all these stuffs. But who's right, who's good, who's better, you never know. Only after doing that product you'll get to know. So we were like, okay, let's try. And after building that product was the first picture that we posted. I guess it was on LinkedIn.
Okay.
uh, I guess it would have got around 7-8 thousand views approximately. And that's where I got messages from personal messages from Bangalore, Hyderabad. I would say a lot of good architects from Mumbai. And that's where, like people started conversations with us about shape. That's where he started, okay, there's something, this is going on. So this the heat that we created from one product, then multiple products, then like small interior designers who came to us who wanted to build products. We did it for them. We made many mistakes, I would say. We still make mistakes. We heard a lot from them. But it's a process, right? You are also learning.
Right.
I agree that we make mistakes, and I guess we should not be disappointed about it. We should think about that what should be our next action plan to solve those problems. For example, if it's a quality issue, how do you understand that what is kind of a good quality, what is a bad quality, and making those changes and iterations rather than just sitting and uh, crying about it. So that's what I believe when like doing this kind of a shape. Earlier 2 years back, it was nothing. We went to Raw, and I would say that Raw Collaborative was one of the first exhibition that allowed us to present. When I say allowed, we had to actually present our work, and we got curated by them. They really loved our work, and we were there at Raw. And when we were there at Raw, I guess a lot of people approached us. We had I probably be knowing Red Architects, would be knowing Leaping Frog, you would be knowing um Studio Osmosis. Then there's one architect based in Surat. All of these people started to have a very good conversation with us, and we still are in. They become our friends, and now that's how we came into picture. They started to understand what our ideology is, and I believe personally that when you have a very strong concept or when you have a strong product story, I guess people would want to actually think about it to buy. Otherwise, people still think that, okay, gone are those days, then people only buy specific pieces. I know majority of people do that, but there's a niche people, and which is expanding, that people want to actually uh, have some kind of statement pieces at their
Right.
homes. That's where we wanted to do, and that's where we start to grow. Oh, it's slow, I would say, but yes, it's there.
Right. Okay. So, as there's so much competition in the industry, what do you think like sets your design style apart from others in the industry, and how do you ensure that your work stands out in a crowded market?
So currently, I would say that competition, yes, I guess every field now has competition.
Right.
With that, I say that when we started, when we looked at it, we always thought that versatility and functionality should be a very key element. And a lot of people, a lot of designs are like, if they're functional, they don't look good, and if they look good, they are not functional. We wanted to be in that area that they are functional, but they also look very good, or they look minimalistic or whatever. We believe in minimalism at a very larger appearances, that we believe that anything which sleek, clean, clear, and functional becomes like a piece of ours. That's where we came, and then every use, we believe that we live in an Indian context. I would not say that everywhere it is, but to what I know and what I've understood is that Indian context, we believe in using a single piece in multiple times or multiple ways. That's where our versatility comes into play. And like any product that you design, that you see, any of our products would have it would have two meanings to one. It would not only be one meaning, it would have two uses minimum. Of course, then it's up to you how do you use it. When you start learning to use those products, you understand that, okay, you can use this product in a different way also. Oh, I can use this also. Like, people start playing with their own product. That's what we wanted to build, and that's what I think that we stand out there, because most of the products that you see in the market are with one meaning, or they're very aesthetic. But when it comes to like basics of like functionality, it lacks there. So we wanted to always be like functional and then aesthetic. So that's where we think that we stand out.
Right. That's great. Like you've been focusing a lot on multifunctionality.
Definitely, I personally believe a lot on that.
Right. And that also helps us to move towards more sustainable living. Like we can use that product over and over again for years in different ways. So that's great. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a founder while achieving these things?
So basically, making people understand is a very big challenge.
Okay.
Like in a person, like when we were also pitching to clients, when we were also pitching to even a carpenter, who like, सर ये कैसे बनेगा, ये नहीं बन पाएगा, ये नहीं बन पाएगा सर, ये ऐसे इसका मोल्डिंग ऐसा है वैसा है. Then we used to have to work with them with details. That we face a very big challenge, and specifically skilled labor. Yes, it's a very big challenge in India. Like currently, it was a time when you had a luxury of skilled laborers, and it's now like diminishing with time and people. A lot of factors to it. I would not make one statement here, but I would say that these that is one. And third thing is also finding that kind of niche client. Like people who would believe in your processes, and then getting it designed. And specifically, we don't have that much of patience to get it developed. We believe in fast furniture, fast fashion, fast food, etc. Everything has to be fast, and in that fast, we actually spend more time than we actually anticipate it to do. So we believe that, अरे हाँ, हम लोग ये फर्नीचर बाय कर लेंगे तो हमारा 10 दिन 5 दिन में काम खत्म हो जाएगा. But actually, it's not true. When you go to one product, you said that, okay, this is good, let's go to some other store tomorrow, then third store, fourth store, and ऐसे करके वो 2 week तो ऐसे ही निकल जाते. When you go there, they'll say that ये piece अभी है नहीं, you'll have to either make it. Then what do? You actually go home and see at what to do. Then finally, if you really love that product, you would say that, okay, we are okay to spend 2 weeks of time. And in all these process, you spend more money because you're traveling. You spend so much of your cognitive load that itna sab karna pad raha hai. And then at the end also you're not satisfied. You're not getting what you really wanted to. This is one use case. It could be another also. This is just one understanding that we have. So I similarly believe that people who want to really make their products, they are not very fascinated to it. And then of course people do not want to uh like get into like they say that they're expensive. But actually I would say when I really calculated with people, it's not really that expensive. It's hardly like I would say that if you're buying a product for like 5,000, it would be a 2.5 or 3K difference when you're customizing it. I'm not saying that yes, it's but majorly it is the case. Not everywhere, but yeah, in most of the cases, it's the case that this is something that I have worked on. So these kinds of challenges is very difficult for people to actually for you to talk to about it, then get them really want to buy that piece, then making those conversations. So it's a lengthy process sometimes. It becomes shorter, sometimes it becomes lengthier. And of course, all of these happens, and then there is like timeline issue. Aaj bana, kal bana, all of that. So I have these kind of small challenges which then come up very big where you don't realize it. So sometimes you are like short of clients, and if you're like full of clients, then you're short of work. People who like you wanted to work with. So that's what I said, that it's fragmented. The industry getting it organized would take time, but yeah, with time, I guess it should happen. So yeah.
So, like you told, you were finding challenges communicating your ideas to the designer or the carpenter specifically. So, did you make some prototype to explain him, or
Yeah,
how
yeah.
was it?
So we used to do 3Ds, but 3D is also not that 3Ds. We used to do detailed 3Ds for them. So we used to like measurement details, and also there's a problem. So in architects specifically works with mm.
Right,
Interior designers work with feet and inches, and carpenters are also flexible in working with inches and not even feet. So sometimes you have to tell everything with inch.
right,
That becomes the problem because you understand everything in you're
right,
trying to explain them in inches. So all of our drawings, our modeling has to be in inches, like cut to cut inches. Then we start to even joinery details is something that we even give them. So we started to work them within very module, like the module पे module, and then we started to like okay, build this product, itna bana ke dikhao, itna bana ke dikhao. This
right.
is what we did with designers. It was more like we used to give them drawings, but only when they're specified that we are designing. If they are designing, then we moreover help them to ऐसा बना सकते हैं, and like guiding. So this is something that we generally do.
Can you describe a time when you had to think, out of the box to come up with a creative solution to a design problem?
So most of the time we have to always think creative. It's not always that, and thinking out of the box is something that we have to do it. Otherwise, people will not come. People don't come to us
Right,
because there are already bigger brands around. But one thing that we did is like, I'd not say that it's a very big challenge, or I'm not say that would be really understood. But the thing is, there was a metal shelf that we had to develop, and we had to develop like a product that would be like very much stuck to the wall, and should not see a person should not see that how it is stuck on the wall. That's where we had to think a lot. It took me months to actually come to that product. So after developing the product, how would it get stuck? What is the so we went into like understanding the wall problem. Then we actually understood the nitty-gritties or वो wall में क्या-क्या चीजें हैं. Like it was not a proper wall. It was like a wall with aluminium putties and inside that. So we thought that how would you do that? So basically we got that panel got stuck into it. All of that. So it took a lengthy process, but I think that was one of the time that I had to crush my brain a lot on sketching, and that getting that idea done. But now truly the customer is very happy. I would say that the designer also didn't think about it, and we came up with it, and she was like, okay, this is like very well done. So that was a very good thing that we had done. Apart from that, most of our products do come with a lot of these brain crunch ideas. Like people always think that how did you even develop it? That's where we get validation that okay, this is out of the box. So yeah.
right, right. So, there is a lot of research, there's a lot of hard work involved into it, months and months of reworking over a single product. This is, I think, a lot of people fail to understand the process that a designer goes through. People just look at the final output. अच्छा ये तो ऐसे दिखने में simple लग रहा है, But if you have to make these simple and minimalistic things, you have to go through a process. There's a lot of hard work involved into it, and people fail to understand that. So that is something that we feel
Definitely.
bad about.
Definitely. I think the process is a very important thing.
Right.
People don't think about processes. Like for example, if they, even if they have to learn sketching, it doesn't start with doing portraits or doing like perspective sketches directly. It starts simple with just doing lines and a lot of lines. Just like practicing lines also makes you perfect, and that's where you start understanding how do you build a perspective out of it. Just simple sketching, I would just say that. And process is something that people generally love to skip it.
Hmm.
Like कि हाँ ये तो पता है ऐसा नहीं करते चलना डायरेक्टली solutions पे आ जाते. No, it's not that. You have to stick to a process. If you stick to a process, I'm sure you will get through somewhere. But if you don't stick to a process, you start skipping processes. You end up doing something which out there is which there is always out in the market, which I guess anyone is doing already. So why would how would you stand out? So I like very clear believe in process.
Okay, so what is the story from your time running Shape a home decor? What has been your proudest moment as a founder?
So I would say one proudest moment about Shape is recently, like last week, I went to a designers meet where we have like 25, 30 designers all across Mumbai. And they are all interior designers, architects, and all of those kind of people. And I just entered the place, and literally a few people did. I just told my name and they knew me, and that's where I found that okay, and they knew me with a chair. So we have one chair that the video that I showed, and
Right.
that where oh you are from Shape, right? That I really love that chair of yours which rotates, and that's where they started conversing. So I didn't have to actually give an introduction, and she only started speaking that I love his products, he does this, he does that, and I was like, oh wow, and I didn't know her actually. I have not even met her anytime soon. So like not even met her for years. Like it was the first time I was meeting every one of them, not
Okay.
even single person, and everyone starting to know me just within seconds.
Wow.
So I got really well validated that oh wow, people are knowing us and people are knowing Shape.
Yeah.
So that was one of the proudest moment that I had.
So, being a founder of such a reputed company, isn't it a easy task? Like, can you tell us how you stay motivated and focus on your goals?
So about motivation and about like goals, I would say that my motivation comes from my house also. Like my mom, my dad, even my wife, they all like motivate me a lot. Even like doing all these, even and in fact, even Gaurav, who's my co-founder,
Right.
with Shape, we always have a conversation that what to do next. We are not like a person like will crib about okay, this client did with us this client did that. We are lack of funds, etc. Whatever. We believe in okay, we believe in results that we think that how would actually we want to go in. And even my students sometimes, like even when I talk to them in class, when I go into lectures, etc., they're always with fresh thoughts. That's where I think that I'm learning a lot. And all these things come into one play, and you actually get self motivated. And also one of things that when like person like I go to designer meets or I go to somewhere and people start validating or knowing you, that becomes more like okay, now it's a responsibility for us to always keep up the Shape products that we are building. So that's like a cycle, right? Since you are getting outside motivation, you are thinking that need to be like a stronger person, and so you need to be a stronger person. You cannot be cribbing about all the things. You
Right.
need to be motivated. And there are a lot of other things that like reading a book sometimes, just like talking to people like you. It also motivates me to talk about me. Okay, this is something that I'm doing, and I also get validated about it. So
Right.
really helps.
Right. So I think industry and even education sector both combined are helping you to stay motivated along with reading and everything. So that's a good.
Definitely, definitely.
So, matlab, like you told about education, so what do you feel about current education? Like, as a faculty, or do you expect students to have certain skill sets that are missing, or would you like to give your students or upcoming aspiring designers a piece of advice that they should consider before getting into a design college?
Yeah, I would say that don't be rigid. When I say that don't be rigid is be open to things. Like and try something of your own, right? Your faculty will be a guiding factor for you in all your 5 years, 3 years, 4 years of your design. So the thing is the problem that we face, and since we studied like 10th standard, 12th standard, we are very much known that teacher will give notes, teacher will teach you, teacher will do this, and only then you'll start studying. ऐसा नहीं होता डिजाइन में you are the sole teacher for yourself. Of course there are guiding factors to you, like for example, if I am teaching, I'll expect you to do some homework and come to me and say that okay sir, I've done this but I still feel that there's a problem here. And no, you need to be proactive, and when you are proactive your learning is always proactive. But if you yourself are like हाँ ठीक है कर लेंगे, हाँ ठीक है सर बताएंगे, हाँ ठीक है नहीं समझ रहे, and then sit back, then it's not going to happen for you.
What do you think? Where is this dependency on the teacher is coming up from?
That's because I would not want to like on record say this, but this is something that comes from our Indian education system.
Right.
I strongly believe this, and I also face this. I'm not saying that I'm new one who didn't face this. I also faced this when I was in in my first year of architecture or design school. I was like, अरे ये कुछ बता क्यों नहीं रहे हैं? Why are they not telling me? Why what do I have to do? अरे ये पहले बोल जाता तो मैं कर लेता ना ये. अरे
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
This
not
is
the thing.
something that even a lot of students I come meet,
ऐसा नहीं होता है. It's
they
very ambiguous.
they
It's
feel,
very ambiguous.
ma'am, we've paid XYZ amount of fees in colleges, and these design colleges are charging us a bomb, but they are not teaching us anything. So a lot of students end up getting into depression. Okay, are we spending something? Or parents feel, अरे हम लोग इतना खर्चा कर रहे हैं और ये कॉलेज वाले तो कुछ सिखा ही नहीं रहे. But they fail to understand the process of it.
So basically, I'll tell you what happens in like I am teaching I am teaching to students in a very first year of their colleges. So I teach research to them, and at a very beginning, like they come up with sir ये क्यों करना है, ये हमने किया है बराबर है कि नहीं. Every time they come with a validation, I'm like why validation? Why can't you decide for yourself? And that's the problem, right? Students cannot decide things, or there's a problem with decision making, which has an underlying issue of lot of problems. I don't want to speak on record, but it's like underlying issues of like people are not able to decide. Since they are not able to decide, they don't know what to do. Since they don't know what to do, they are like अच्छा हाँ मतलब रहने दे सर सिखाएंगे तो हम लोग कर लेंगे. So it's like that behavior which has been with them. And first year, second year, they always face this issue. In third year, they understand that okay, now we know things. Now हमको पता है क्या करना, because they've learned a lot of things. And in the fourth year, fifth year, they are more like the boss of themselves. Then they are starting to debate with faculty, saying that we build this, this is the reason that we built it. You tell us why didn't it works or not.
Right.
Right. So that's the conversation they build in. But in the initial years, no, they will always have this ambiguity. कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, हमको कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है, and that is good. But be in that space and try to learn and
Right.
to think. I would say that thinking is very important here in any design course, mate, whatever. If you cannot think, if you like just copy pasting things, you will not grow. If you start thinking and try to understand why, like I would say that anything you come in place, always ask a why. Why are you doing this? What makes you do this? What I would why did I do this? Why what will happen if I do this? Etc. etc. A lot of questions around that. Start questioning. Once you start questioning, you learn.
Right.
That's the art of it. So design में questions पूछना बहुत अच्छी बात होती है. And it's like important to ask good questions. Not anything but good questions. Like when I say like ask a lot of whys to yourself first and then ask whys to teacher. I guess that would really help them to grow.
I think also we can break this down during their, when they are in 11th and 12th, when they are preparing themselves for the design entrance exam, they basically focus on ये question क्या है मैम, और ये कैसे सॉल्व करना है. दे डोंट रियली फोकस ऑन डेवलपिंग द प्रोसेस एंड एवरीथिंग, बिकॉज आई फील since childhood days, like parents are like, if you do this work, we'll give you this. So there is always a reward factor that they are getting used to. Like in school, if you study well, you get marks as a reward. But in design, it's very different. To get that reward, you have to go through a process. But because of initial experiences of getting rewards since childhood days, like very simple, a 4-year-old baby, if he starts asking, okay, mama, I want this, so then mama will say, okay, no, you have to be silent for a while, then I'll give you a chocolate, or then I'll give you a mobile phone. So they get habitual to this process, and this is something that is disturbing them in their initial first and second years. So I think this is something that students need to be very aware about. And before getting into college, I think they should work on this factor as well, so that they can develop and progress in their early days of college as well.
Definitely. I think reward system is something, of course, it also validates, like we are,
Yeah.
it also is with us, right? Like if you walk so much, you will get reward of points, and those points can be then converted into products you would like to buy.
Right.
Similarly, even Paytm does it. Similarly, like even Google Play Pay does it. Everything.
Yeah.
But I guess reward is something interesting in every of any of us in that way. But
Yeah.
the thing is, the process of it, what you said is really agreed upon. Like, there's an A to B. So आप सीधा जाओगे तो you'll only get that. But in design, there's not only one way to do it. It's like A to B can be reached through C also. And A to B could be reached through like just like a curve also from below. You never know. A to B process cannot be completely straight here. It's always ambiguity, and it can be dealt with any of the points. So it's more like permutation than combination, and then you think what would work for you the best. So you have to be ambiguous at start. It's okay to be. Don't have to be like very anxious about it. You just have to be. You have to know and be in the process. Once you are in the process, I'm definitely sure you'll go through something.
Right. And a last question to you, sir. What do you advise will you give to the aspiring designers? Like, what advice would you like to give who want to start their own venture in future and who want to become an entrepreneur?
I would only say one thing. Sorry, two things. That's one is be open to learning and observe. When I say learning, it has to be that it's like it's never an age to learn specifically. So don't think that if you're become like a designer or you just graduated, you don't have to learn from your peers or have to learn from it. You have to constantly learn. Every time you learn, every time you'll think that okay, I didn't know this, and be like a curious mind. So
Right.
like I would say again, reiterating my statement, I would say three things: curiosity, learning, and observation. I guess these three things would definitely help you to grow forward, because observation will help you to understand what outside the world is like. Learning will help you to always constantly stay in touch with new things which are coming up to play. And curiosity will always create that motivational factor for you to learn. So only then I guess that path would be really made for you. So don't think on like just money as a factor.
Right. True. Money and the final reward.
Yeah, definitely. Marks are not always
Yeah,
important and
marks.
never important in design. I would say that. I didn't get my jobs because of my marks. I would say that. I'm
Right.
a low scorer that way.
Right. Okay. So this was a very great and insightful conversation. I really, really hope that we get to see your products very soon. We hope that your products get launched with various famous brands and people can use it more frequently. And we are looking forward to have such insightful conversations with you all. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.